The past few days on the homestead have been, well, a little bit of everything. We roasted apples and canned up jars of cozy golden applesauce. Hot peppers hit the freeze dryer and came back as fire salt. Sweet Marconi peppers got pickled and canned. A mountain of bell peppers met my knife in the freezer, and my daughter baked the most delicious apple pie I have ever tasted. And somewhere in the middle of it all, I started a gallon of fermented garlic dill pickles. It's been random and it's been real, and honestly, this is exactly how our pantry fills up for the winter. So come hang out with us for a few busy but beautiful days. I don't know if you can tell how many feathers are laying around in this video here, but my chickens are going through a really heavy molt. Last year when they did this, it lasted all winter long. So we are feeding some extra proteins to help them hopefully come out of this molt and lay eggs again, because right now they are completely freeloading and I am getting nothing. Today is one of those days where I have a ton to do and not enough time to do it. I know everybody has days like those. I was gifted a huge amount of peppers, and at the same time, it's apple season. And so I stopped by my local orchard and found a whole bunch of apples on sale. Plus, I did a big garden harvest. So I have found myself in a spot where I have a whole bunch of food to put up. Of course, I don't want any of it to go to waste. So we are just going to work our tail off today and get as much done in the kitchen as we can. On days like this, when I am incredibly busy, I want to let my kitchen appliances do the work for me. And so I am just getting dinner ready to go in my multi-cooker. It's going to cook all day long while I am working on other things. And then tonight, I don't have to worry or stress about what I am feeding my family. I have some poblano peppers here that I have not used up fast enough. And so I'm having to really look them over and make sure I'm not getting any bad parts. But I don't want to waste them. And so tonight we are going to have a poblano pepper and chicken creamy soup situation. This soup was really simple and delicious. I just used the sear option on this multi-cooker. I cooked those onions and peppers and corn until they were nice and golden. And then I added the very last bit of my homemade taco seasoning. I'm gonna need to restock that soon. We made that together last Christmas. So I made enough to almost last me a year. I got pretty close. And then I went in with the chicken, seasoned it well with salt, pepper, garlic, threw in a jar of some chicken stock, and then just let this simmer all day long. I think I let it go for 5 to 6 hours before I finished it up. We have a really awesome local orchard, and whenever a certain fruit that I'm wanting to use is in season, I always go there and look first, because they often sell seconds. Seconds fruit is fruit that is bruised or has little spots on it like I just showed you. Sometimes they are almost all the way ripe, and so they sell them for a lot less than they are like their most beautiful fruit, but it's perfect to use for something like this where it's applesauce, where I'm going to be taking that skin off anyways. I don't mind to cut out a few bad parts to save a whole lot of money. All right, now that dinner is going, applesauce is cooking, it is time to deal with my next to-do list item, and that is putting up these hot peppers. Now I have jalapenos, I have sugar rush peach peppers, and I have Aleppo peppers here. I am just going to take the tops off, chop them up. I'm not gonna worry about the seeds. I'm gonna throw them in my freeze dryer and get them drying. Once they're completely dry, I can kind of sift out the seeds. They'll fall away, and then I'm gonna grind these up and make a hot pepper powder for my husband. He's going to love it. I, on the other hand, am not even gonna taste it. I know that I am not gonna like this. These are some hot peppers, which means I need to find my gloves. It was a really big goal of mine this year to not let any food from my garden go to waste. Sometimes I have in the past just kind of been overwhelmed by the amount of food that I grow, and I harvest it and then I either don't know what to do with it, or I'm just overwhelmed at putting it up because it's so much. And I have done so good this year at not letting anything go to waste. I will say that some of these peppers, I let them stay on the vine too long and they are getting a little bit like overripe, wrinkled, but that is okay. They're just starting to dry on the vine. There's no mold, there's no decay to them. So they will freeze dry and then powder just fine. If you don't have a freeze dryer, if you don't have a freeze dryer, you could also just dehydrate these in a dehydrator or even in an oven. You wouldn't get the exact same product, but it would be very similar. Freeze-dried peppers powder a lot easier, so you might end up with more of a flake instead of a powder when you're finished. And you guys, you see me use this chopper all the time. It is such a time saver for me. I absolutely love it. If you don't have one and you are somebody who does a lot of from scratch cooking, this should definitely be your next kitchen investment if you want to save time. You know what? I cannot function, I feel like, with these gloves on. Since I'm not de-seeding these and I'm not doing a lot of touching of the insides, I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna try and keep my hands away from my face because I'm probably still gonna get a little bit of oils on them, but I am just clumsy and fumbling everything with gloves on, so we're gonna just do it barehanded.
I was talking about how my goal for the garden this year was to not waste any of the food that came out of it, and how I've done such a great job, and 90% of that success can be attributed to the freeze dryer. Having that allows me to put up vegetables in a way where I don't have to have a huge amount like you would for most canning projects. I can have just a few things here and there, and they don't have to all be the same thing on each tray. So I can have a handful of peppers on one tray, a handful of green beans on another tray. Mine's a 5 tray, so you get my point. Like, you can just fill up each tray with the amount of food that you have and let your freeze dryer run. It's a great way to do herbs as well, and I am getting so much more food put up this year because of that. I use the Stay Fresh freeze dryer, and I do have an affiliate link and a discount code, and I'll put that in my description for you.
What I have on my plate next is this huge amount of sweet peppers. I have bell peppers, cubanelles, and sweet Marconis. Some of these are from my garden, but a huge majority of them are from a friend's garden who has the absolute most beautiful garden you have ever seen. It is incredibly productive and prolific, and she was kind enough to share a huge bag, like probably 15 to 20 pounds of peppers with me, and I am not going to waste a single one. So we're going to be freeze drying some, we are going to be chopping and freezing some in the freezer, and then we are going to pickle and can some of these. I am going to freeze dry the cubanelle peppers. I love to make stuffed peppers with these, and so I'm going to freeze dry them. I'm going to chop them up and freeze dry them, and I think that they're going to be excellent for like a stuffed bell pepper soup. I could live on soup in the wintertime, and so I think this is going to be something that I reach for often. Look how pretty these ones with all of the different colors of hot peppers are. I go freeze dry, settings. I like to add extra dry time, just in case I don't get to it in time. And start.
I have moved on to working through this big pile of sweet Marconi peppers now. I am slicing them into rings to pickle them. Once they're packed into jars, I'm going to be water bath canning them for just a short amount of time to make them shelf stable, so they'll be ready for me to grab all winter long. We use these peppers all the time. We throw them into salads, layer them on pizzas, put them in the crock pot with a Mississippi roast, and even mix them into chicken salad for a little pop of flavor. But I have a lot of peppers here, and this is going to make a lot of jars, so I'm definitely going to need some new ideas. If you have a favorite way to use pickled peppers, let me know in the comments. I would love to have some fresh new ideas.
I have made a huge dent in these sweet Marconi peppers. I have probably like, I don't know, 2/3 of them chopped up and ready to go, but I need to go get my kids from school. So I'm going to throw these into the fridge. As soon as I get back, those apples are going to be ready to turn into applesauce. Then I will get these pickled, and I may or may not get to chopping and freezing my bell peppers tonight. If not, I will get to those tomorrow, and I'll make sure and bring you along then as well. I've gotten a lot done so far in just a few hours, and I am incredibly thankful and grateful for every bit of food that I am able to preserve and put away so that I can feed my family out of my shelving, out of my pantry, and eliminate the grocery store as much as possible, because groceries are ridiculously expensive. So I will put the work in. I will spend the time to put up all of the food that I possibly can. I actually just checked these apples really quick as I was walking out the door, and they are soft and ready to turn into sauce. You can tell they just kind of mush when you touch them. So these are the perfect texture. I know, not very pretty right now. We are going to run these through my KitchenAid food mill attachment until I get back from getting my kids from school. Those are just going to hang out right there. I did turn the temperature all the way down. I am in line to get my kiddos from school, and I don't do this very often, but I stopped at our local coffee shop and I got a pumpkin pie chai tea with a shot of espresso, half sweet, you guys. It is so good. I'm definitely going to be recreating this at home. Now that I am back home from getting my kiddos, it is time to turn all of these apples into applesauce. I am using my KitchenAid attachment. It is just a food mill, and it's going to take out all of the skin and all of the seeds and all of the hard bits out of those apples for me, and make this a really quick and easy process to turn these apples into applesauce. I am using the applesauce recipe in the Ball Book of Home Preserving. The ingredients are just apples, optional sugar, and lemon juice. This is sweet enough. I've already tasted it, so I'm not going to sweeten it at all. But lemon juice is not optional. You have to get the acidity correct. This is about half a bushel of apples, and Alexa told me that that weighs 21 pounds. And the recipe is for 12 pounds of apples. So I'm just going to double it because I'm not exactly sure how many pounds I have. And I'm going to go in here with 8 tablespoons of lemon juice. 8 tablespoons is the same thing as half a cup. So that makes for easy measuring. I'm going to throw that in there, stir it up really good, and give it a second taste and make sure that the lemon juice didn't make it so tart that it doesn't need just a bit of sweetener. But I'm hoping to not add any. It doesn't need any at all. It's perfect. This is a mixture of Jonathan apples and Golden Delicious. And it is perfectly sweet, but also just a little bit tart. I'm going to put the heat to this on medium-low, and I'm going to get my jars washed. A co-op that I have access to was selling huge lots of Superb lids, and I have heard such great things about these, but they are a little bit more expensive, and so I had not made the switch. But doing a bulk buy
made them less expensive than even the off-brand lids that I was purchasing on Amazon. So this is my first batch of canning to do with them, and so far I had 100% seal rate. They seem really high quality and I am really loving them. I already used a little over half of this. I have 10 pints of just a regular applesauce. So with what's left, I'm gonna make like a cinnamon spice applesauce. I'm gonna go in just with some cinnamon, a little bit of nutmeg, and a little bit of a real maple syrup. My canner is to a rolling boil, so I am ready to go ahead and put these applesauce jars in. They are going to process for 20 minutes, whether you do pints or quarts, either one. We are back to those sweet Marconi peppers. I am just making the brine for those. And I took this recipe out of the Ball Book of Preserving. This was for a pickled hot pepper. And the only ingredients actually were vinegar and water. This felt a little bit odd to me and too sour. And so I changed it up a bit. I added a little bit of salt, a little bit of sugar, and then some turmeric for color. And it tasted perfect after that. So I just went ahead and got all of my jars stuffed and filled to the top, and then these water bath for 10 minutes. All right, it is the next day. I had the most fun this morning. A local photographer wanted to come over and take some pictures of me in the garden and just get some of her creativity out. And we did a sunrise session and it was absolutely gorgeous out there.
And now it is time to finish up what I started yesterday. So I am just working on chopping up bell peppers right now. I am just going to freeze these. And then you're going to see my daughter in and out too with all of these apples. She wanted to make an apple pie. So she's doing that at the same time as I am working on peppers. I'm going to freeze these peppers on a baking sheet and just do like a quick flash freeze on them and then package them up once they are frozen. That way I can put a whole bunch in one bag and just pull out what I need. This project was not even on my radar for the day, but I went out to the garden to see if I had any cucumbers for lunch, and I was very greatly surprised with way more than enough for lunch. So I am going to try my hand at some fermented pickles. I told you guys I need to look back and see what variety of cucumbers I planted. I have no idea what they are. They're super pale green. They're beautiful. But they are so prolific, and I'm so excited to finally be making some pickles. I have played around a little bit with fermenting this year for the very first time, and I'm really enjoying it. I've never done fermented whole pickles before, so I'm going to go grab out a gallon jar, and that is, half a gallon. Is it half a gallon? I think it's a half a gallon jar, and that is what I am going to do with these. Of course, I'm going to wash them first. I also grabbed a big handful of fresh dill, and we're going to have something else to feed us. This isn't going to last us very long. My kids go through pickles very quickly. We have been loving like the zucchini spaghetti noodle pickles that I made, so I'm excited to have something else in our fridge. To start, we are going to get these cucumbers in an ice bath for about 30 minutes just to get nice and firm. All right, got my half gallon jar. I got my cold pickles. I am gonna cut the blossom end off of these and then fit them into this jar. I'm also gonna throw in some dill, and I'm just gonna layer it in. So I'm gonna throw some in the bottom and then do more cucumbers and then just keep layering it. I still have quite a few, so I'm gonna go grab another jar.
making the brine for the ferment. So all you need for this is water and salt. And for pickles, you want to do about a 3% salt solution. So you do need to use your food scale.
I almost forgot about the garlic. You can flavor these up in whatever way you would like. I can't remember if I have any peppercorns. I'm gonna look and see if I do, and if I do, I'll throw some of those in as well. This is garlic that I grew in my garden last October, and it's still perfectly good. I am saving, like, some of these cloves are huge, so I'm gonna save those to replant. All right, lids are gonna go on these. And then I am gonna put them up in a dark place to just sit and ferment. Every single day though, I am gonna open this lid and just let out any gases. That way it does not explode everywhere.
If you are freezing your peppers in bulk to flash freeze like this, you do want to just kind of stir them around about every hour or so that they don't freeze into a big block.
My freeze dryer is finished. I have time to just put these peppers away because my daughter has a volleyball game tonight. So these ones on top are the Cubanelle peppers. I am storing these in mason jars, and I'll throw an oxygen absorber on there. And then I don't have time right now, but when I get home, I'm gonna seal up the top of the Cubanelles. But the jars that I am gonna do with these hot peppers, I'm gonna be turning those into fire salt probably tomorrow, and so I'm not gonna worry about sealing them. This is why I said you don't need to worry about getting all of the seeds out of these, because when they dry, the seeds don't stick any longer, and a lot of times they fall into the pan. Now there are still some in here in my jar, but if I give these a good shake, those seeds are gonna separate, go to the bottom, and then my peppers will just be at the top. You wanna come do it? It is the next day again. I know I told you guys I was gonna come back and do a little bit more work after that volleyball game, but we got home later than I planned, and so I just went to bed and left my work for today. Good serve! But that means that we get to go ahead and get these peppers processed. So I just have my food processor here. I'm gonna dump in all of these hot peppers and blend them up into a powder, and we're gonna make like a fire salt seasoning. So it's gonna be these peppers all powdered up, and then I'm gonna mix them with salt and garlic powder and onion powder. And I think it's gonna be a really awesome seasoning. Oh, I know why.
More.
Because I got to put this in there. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna take this powder and pour it into my fine mesh sieve. It's gonna get out any chunks or any little bits of seeds that are in here. I think I need to wear a mask while I'm doing this.
Whoa.
You think it's funny?
Yes. Watch. Yeah, that's not spicy.
I'm just kidding. I'm gonna just go with it. Whatever seeds are in there are gonna go in. It's a minimal amount anyways. This is giving me sneezing fits, and so there's gonna be some seeds in the powder. All right, so to these peppers, I'm gonna add 2 cups of pink Himalayan salt. One cup of garlic powder.
Oh, garlic powder. Smells good. Now smell it.
And 1 cup of onion powder. Or I guess half a cup of onion powder, because that's all I have.
Okay, now I smell it.
We're gonna get that all stirred up well. Thank you guys for joining me for a totally random but a totally real few days here at the 6 Hearts on 6 Acres Homestead. We were very productive and we got a lot done, lots of little chores knocked out, and that's kind of what it takes on a day-to-day basis. I absolutely love having you guys along with me. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe, like this video, give it a hype, give me a comment, and meet me back here in the next video. Until I see you then, may God bless.